Russia and the Kremlin is a master of misdirection. So on a day when Andrei Medveydev, 26-year-old former officer in the Wagner brigade, defected and found his way over the border into Norway on Friday, where he was detained by the border guards and has currently been claiming asylum. He's being held in Oslo and he faces charges of illegally entering Norway. But as I say, he's claimed asylum, so presumably, if his story holds up, among other things, he claims to have evidence of war crimes committed by the Wagner Brigade in Ukraine. That, I think, is extremely interesting. He joined the paramilitary group in July 2022 on a 6-month contract after apparently also being imprisoned. So it's not clear whether he joined and was then imprisoned or whether he was one of the people who was recruited from prison. But I mean, it's quite clear that the Wagner Brigade has been playing a huge role in the Russian maneuvers around Ukraine and indeed in the extraordinary fights in the salt mines. Now, today, oddly, there's a story from Russia, from Mr. Peskov, the Kremlin spokesperson, saying sometimes our friends act in such a way that we don't need enemies. And there seems to be some sort of squabble between the Russian High Command and the Wagner Brigade and Prigozhin, the Putin's chef. And part of the problem here, I think, is that the Kremlin is not giving sufficient credit to the Wagner group in its reports of the capture of Solidar, and Prigozhin is irritated. He says that they are always trying to steal victory from the mercenary group. The Defense Ministry talks about the brave and selfless actions of the Wagner fighters as they stormed the city. And this is partly, I think, a defensive pullback and an attempt to include them in the story of the Kremlin victory. Now, is it an absolute victory? That also is not clear. Ukraine has not quite ceded the city of Solidar, but the brutality of the fighting and the do or die actions of the Wagner Brigade, along with now the evidence which is going to be presented in Oslo of the brutality of that group, is, I think, extremely interesting. And Yevgeny Prigozhin has confirmed that Medveydev was a member of the Wagner Brigade. He's done him down quite seriously and said that he was some sort of that he'd gone rogue in some way. So not only is Prigozhin confirming that that this man was a member of the brigade, but he's also confirming that he has in fact now defected, I think. That is confirmation. So there's no question about who he is, what his background is, and that he probably has fairly good evidence of war crimes.